Under the light of a full moon, Manhwa, the demon, flaying sword, stood alone. He held a letter in his hand, a letter from his mother. Her words began with an apology for the urgency, stating that the matter at hand was too pressing to waste time on pleasantries. The next line struck him with the force of a physical blow. Yunho is alive. Manhwa's eyes widened in disbelief. After 5 long years, this news had arrived concerning his younger brother. His hand instinctively clenched, crushing the very paper that bore the revelation. The letter continued with his mother's words. Acknowledging the weight he has carried, I am sure that should lighten the burden on your chest a bit. The letter reveals a strange detail. Erkan is not allowed to come home. The news enrages their father. Hamkaren clenches his fists in fury. How dare they? But his wife cuts him off with a stern command. Instead of getting mad, go and pack. To which he meekly agrees. With their decision made, she writes that she and his father will go and look for Erkan themselves. The letter came from the Kyun branch of the house. Sack. So that is where they are headed. Back in the moonlit night, Wei-san, Bo looks up at the sky, the words echoing in his mind. He's alive. The weight of 5 years finally lifts, and he breathes in the cool air, a wave of relief washing over him. But the moment is fleeting. He quickly schools his features, thinking to himself, no, now's not the time to get emotional. He turns with a new purpose. His foot stomping the ground as he focuses on the destination. Kyung, a cold, determined look settles on his face, is where Wei Jiang lives. With his mind made up, Wei-san unleashes his energy, a whirlwind of power signifying his departure. Later that night, a knock sounds on a door at the Sacred Hand grounds. Jin-sit stands outside asking, are you sleeping? From inside, Wei Hyun-ho, lying down and clearly exhausted, replies with a simple yes. Jin appears unconvinced. It doesn't seem that way. Wei Hyun-ho retorts, how can you be a physician when you don't even trust people? Ignoring the jab, Jin-so offers a compliment. You did well. Today, it was a little helpful. The backhanded praise makes Hyun-ho sit up and protest. A little. I saved a whole patient. Jin-seo, but quickly corrects himself. You were greatly helpful. Satisfied, Hyun-ho concedes him. All right. The brief moment of levity passes, and Jin-seo's expression turns serious once more. Anyway, he begins. Where do you think our problem lies? But Hyun-ho, still lying down, considers the question. Problem. There are so many, but why? Jin-seo looks at him with earnest determination. I want to restore the Sacred Hand manor to its former glory, he declares. That's why I wanted to hear the objective truth from an outsider like you. Hearing this, Hyun-ho sits up and thinks for a moment. Well, there are lots of problems, but the biggest one would be this. He pauses before giving a simple one-word answer. Money. Jin-seo is taken aback. Sorry. Hyun-ho gestures with his fingers and repeats himself. Money. The young head of the manor looks flustered, protesting. Medicine is the most important thing to a physician's household. Isn't money a secondary problem? Hyun-ho challenges his naive perspective. Then think about it from the beginning. What brought on your household's downfall? He reminds him of a key fact. He said that the giant physician's place across the street used to be yours. With a sigh, Jin-seo's gaze falls to his lap as he begins to recount the past. Our father was a very friendly man, he says, a vision of his father's booming laugh flashing in his memory. He did not have a single enemy. He explains that his father treated patients for free, much like they were doing now. He would never take payment from the poor, even if the treatment cost a fortune. This generosity was possible because they had wealth accumulated from previous generations stored in chests overflowing with gold. But the storage began running out of gold by the time I was born. Jin-seo continues, the image of a single empty, cobweb-filled chest replacing the mountains of treasure. By the time I matured, it was empty. He adds that in those prosperous times, the manor, with the Sacred Hand manor employed many physicians, leading to immense expenses that further drained their resources. Jin-seo continues his story, explaining that at first, the debt wasn't crushing. Thanks to their skill and fame, they still brought in a decent amount of money. However, he says his father eventually realized that his charitable method was unsustainable and sought a way to repay the debt. Wei Hyun-ho starts guessing wildly. So, was he skimmed? Assassinated? Jin-seo dismisses the dramatic theories, telling Wei Hyun-ho he's read too many novels. With a nervous sweat, he explains that his father found a high-risk way to gain a lot of money in a short amount of time, gambling. The memory is a painful one, showing his father as a desperate man consumed by his addiction. Wei Hyun-ho looks on in disbelief, clarifying the tragic situation. His father gambled to repay debts, only to bring his family to ruin in an attempt to win big. Jinso confirms this was the case. He tells Wei Yanho that his father tried and tried again, neglecting his own health in the process. He never ate proper food and only drank, eventually passing away from nutrient deficiency and alcohol poisoning. Wei Yanho stares, momentarily stunned by the tragic and frankly pathetic story. What the hell? He exclaims. He quickly grasps the situation. So, you want to ask me how you're supposed to revive the sacred hand manor? Why would you ask me that though? Hyunsoa explains his reasoning. Since Wei Yanho came with a recommendation letter from the third grand scholar, Manhwa, he couldn't possibly be an ordinary person. Wei Yanho smirks, dismissing the idea. But you're wrong. I am an ordinary person. He then offers some advice. This is something you should ask a professional. You ask a physician about medical stuff. You ask a pharmacist for medicine. With money matters in mind, the scene shifts to a meeting with Daebun, the branch manager of the Silver River Exchange. He sits opposite Wei Yanho and Jinso, a bead of sweat on his brow as he processes the proposal. So, Royal Inspector, he begins, you want me to invest in the Sacred Hand Manor. In the Sacred Hand Hall, Wei Yanho leans forward, posing a question to Jinso. Think about it. Would the Sacred Hand Hall be in this state right now if you had been the one managing it? Jinso doesn't hesitate. Of course not. Wei Yanho presses his advantage, tapping his fingers together. They have the medical skills, but not the administrative skills, he points out. If you were to help with that. A slight smile forms on Daebun's face as he strokes his chin, considering the proposal. He agrees that combining their skills would definitely bring in money. Jinso, however, is not pleased. She leans over to Wei Yanho and mutters, I don't want to work with him though. Wei Yanho is blunt. You have no choice, he says. This guy is the one who has the power of choice right now. You're not all that, you know. You can't be picky. When Jinso asks what she did that was so bad, Wei Yanho's answer is simple, being bro. Jinso bristles, defending her family's honor. But our household is renowned for our medical skills. To work with a loan shark. The insult is not lost on Daebun, who erupts in anger. What? Loan shark? You guys are the ones who blew away your money like nothing. At least I know how I make my money grow. Wei Yanho steps in before the argument can escalate. He turns to Jinso. Hey, do you think you dug up that fame from the ground? Where do you think it came from? He challenges Jinso's idealized view of her family's past. Do you think that the Sacred Hand Hall would have lasted so long if they had given out treatments for free like you are doing right now? Wei Yanho gestures towards the memory of their grand former pavilion. Your former pavilion was really fancy, too. The ancestors you're so proud of all received money from their patients. That's how they were able to build such a grand pavilion. Jinso stammers, the foundation of her belief shaking. Is that true? Of course, Wei Yanho exclaims. He explains that the pride Jinso feels for her family comes from their fame as a medicine household. Daebun adds that to maintain that pride, you need to bring in money and have a grand pavilion as a symbol of your success. He chimes in, confirming the point. All the really famous physician households are all rich, aren't they? Immensely wealthy. He elaborates that patients don't hold back their money when their lives are at stake. See, Wei Yanho says, looking at Jinso, who can only manage a dejected F. The reality of the situation sinks in. Jinso looks down, her ideals clashing with the harsh truth Wei Yanho is present in. I thought medicine was about the people. The conversation leaves a heavy silence. Jinso is left to ponder this new, cynical worldview. Tucked into his bed, while Wei Yanho lies awake, a hint of concern on his face. He wonders to himself, was I too straightforward? He feels a pang of guilt thinking that Jinso has been down since their conversation, but he quickly dismisses the thought. Oh, whatever. It's none of my business. Suddenly, a loud shout shatters the quiet. I told you to come. The commotion jolts Wei Yanho from his bed. And he sits up, wondering, what's going on now? Outside in the courtyard, a large, boisterous man is causing a scene, his voice echoing through the night. A menacing man with a prominent scar across his face is roughing up one of the staff. Let me talk to the owner, he roars. Where's Jinyi, Anne? Where's that damned matriarch? The man is Jaegul Gion from a group called Black Earth. Just then, a woman's sharp voice cuts through the chaos. What are you doing? Jinyi, Anne appears, her face a mask of fury. Why are you dragging a patient from their room? Jaegul Gion fixes his gaze on her, a malicious grin spreading across his face. Oh, so you're Jinyi, Anne. He says. Jin Yang is undeterred, her voice sharp with anger, as she confronts him. Don't you have any empathy? Her accusation only seems to amuse him. Empathy? Are you borrowing money from us because you have empathy? He scoffs. He lays out the harsh reality of their situation. Your father borrowed money in the name of the sacred hand minner. You need to either shut down the business or repay the debt. Jin Yang attempts to reason with him, shielding the patient. Talk to us if you have a problem. What have the patients done? Ji Gulgion mocks her plea. Ooh, talk to you guys. He dismisses the men trying to help with a powerful blow, sending one flying. In the next instant, he moves, his hand seizing Jin Yang's wrist in a crushing grip. He violently pulls her towards him, causing her to cry out. As he holds her captive, he speaks with a chilling lack of remorse. I didn't want to use this method either, but since you want to take care of it yourself, he continues, his voice low and threatening. He then reveals his sickening solution. Seeing as you're pretty, selling you to the brothels should pay off the debt. A cruel smile twists his lips. With your looks, you should be able to pay off the debt in about 10 years. Isn't that a good solution? Let her go. His voice rings out as he charges forward, striking Ji Gulgyung's back with a desperate punch. The attack is utterly useless. Ji Gulgyung retaliates with a single brutal kick, sending Jin Soa flying across the courtyard and collapsing in the dirt. Jin Yang screams in horror. Ji Gulgyung turns back to her, his expression unchanged. It won't even take you that long, seeing as even your shocked face is pretty, he taunts. Your brother should worry about how to use you for money instead of your safety. His cruelty galvanizes the injured patients. No, one cries out. Not the physician, take me instead, you terrible bastard. A group of them swarm Ji Gulgyung, trying to hold him back. Another, fueled by desperation, crawls towards him, screaming, I am going to die anyway. I'll take you with me, and sinks his teeth into Ji Gulgyung's leg. Ji Gulgyung seethes as he tries to shake the man off. Stop it. Jin Yang cries out, her voice filled with anguish. This is not your problem to deal with. Seeing her people willing to sacrifice themselves for her, she makes a decision. She falls to her knees, pleading with Ji Gulgyung, don't put your hands on the patients. I'll go. The patients cry out her title in despair. Ji Gulgyung looks down at her, the triumphant, dark chuckle rumbling in his chest. All right. Jin Soa grabs his sister, his voice trembling. Well, what do you mean? Jin Yang turns to her younger brother, her expression resolute despite the circumstances. I'll repay the debt somehow, she says, trying to reassure him. Don't worry about me, cause think about restoring our household. With that, Ji Gulgyung leads her away, and they walk towards the gate, leaving a scene of devastation behind them. The patients watch in despair. Jin Soa falls to his knees, tears streaming down his face as he cries out for his sister physician. Sister. Just as they reach the exit, Ji Gulgyung pauses. Oh, wait. A figure has appeared. It's Wei Yanho standing barefoot in the courtyard. With a calm, unwavering gaze, he speaks. You can't go. Ji Gulgyung turns, a contemptuous sneer on his face as he sizes up the newcomer. Who the hell are you? He demands. Wei Yanho stands his ground, still wrapped in his blanket, an unusual figure in the tense courtyard. He looks up, his expression unreadable but firm. I'm Yanho, he answers, his voice steady.